Coming up on this episode of the Village Idiom.
If you have got a Russian idiom that you could share in Russian,
all right,
and then the direct translation.
Right. So let's say I meet somebody.
No, don't.
Just say it first.
Okay.
Just the Russian idiom.
Я ему лапшу на уши навешал.
Yesholabnushalom.
Я ему лапшу на уши навешал.
Which means directly what?
Which I hang a whole bunch of spaghetti on his ears.
Village Idiom.
Hello and welcome to the Village Idiom.
We are a podcast that every week chooses a popular saying. We take a shallow and hopefully comedic and once in a while even interesting dive into its meaning, its origins, its usage. But we're also going to use it to hang our otherwise directionless conversation on. My name is Jurassic Mark.
And I'm Skinny, and we're very excited to have a special guest today.
Standing between us.
Yes.
We're going to need a
Increasing
nickname.
the good
It's very
looks.
intimidating. We're very close. I'm not used to being so close to people. But anyway, carry on.
It's the fisheye lens does that.
Yeah, that's right.
We have the Russian bear.
Right. Yeah.
Russian bear.
Hey.
Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, you're welcome. No problem.
It's our friend Alex, who speaks like...
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
He does speak.
Something.
He speaks...
Well, we have to make mention of the accent because last week...
Right.
Skinny actually tried to imitate your accent.
Oh, he did try that. Right?
It was pretty good, I thought.
Well, you were doing Stallone, and then I went, I must break you.
Yeah.
That's our only Russian context, is Rocky 3.
The only problem is I can't get out of my accent. That's the only difference.
Can you, like, with effort, can you do other accents?
No.
No.
I mean, I can do, no.
Can you do Russian?
No, that's the Russian accent. Is it the Russian accent?
So you can't even, like, mind over matter.
I mean, I could try.
Yeah.
Right? But it never happons. And, like, there's something wrong with me. Like, I was in Britain, and I kept thinking, we were, like, driving around, whatever. Those little cars, on the left side,
Sure.
And the people, like, you're driving a little car that here usually doesn't go any faster than like 80 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
You're driving like 140, and there are people passing you, even smaller cars.
Yeah.
So it's really weird. And so I was kind of picking up British, I thought, right, for 2 weeks, and my wife just corrected me. The only time it helped. Okay, so we're like in Nova Scotia, right? And so in Nova Scotia, and we're in this village, okay, outside of St. John's, right? So turns out I can
St. Joan.
Yeah,
St. John, whatever it is.
St. John's sister.
Right, Russia.
Yeah.
So,
She's lovely.
Right. And so the thing with this village, right, is that it's only 20 kilometers from the urban center, right? But people in this village speak in some rather interesting dialect. So the guy comes up to my wife and he speaks to her for like a few minutes. And I think because I've been weird enough with my accent, so I kind of understood what he was saying. So she turns to me and she says, I think there's something wrong with him. And I said, I don't think so. I think it's just a guy talking to you. And so I had to translate.
Nice.
Translate from English to English?
No, that's just the second time. The first time I translated for my wife, we're on this train, okay? It's overnight.
Australia. Oh, on train.
No, train. Right. So
I
we're
heard Australia.
Like from Austria, we're going to Prague, right? And there's two guys with us. Now, both of them have British passports, but actually, so they're from where are you from, right? And they're like, we're from Guernsey and Jersey, okay? So which is fine, right? So like Guernsey and Jersey, whatever, right? And then we're like, so one of these guys, he had actually been living in London for a while, so he kind of acclimatized to sort of civilization. Right?
I think London is civilized.
Sort of.
In air quotes.
I don't know. Anyway.
Last time I checked.
So, but the other guy never left the island. Okay.
Which island?
Well, two of them, the Guernsey and Jersey.
Oh, I see.
The Channel Islands, right? So they're talking, and so when the first guy spoke, was fine, no problem, right? Talks to my wife responds. No, when the other guy spoke, I had to translate.
It was
just like, can you translate?
You're speaking Guernsey.
Jersey.
Guernsey.
Speaking of Guernsey, have you ever been to the Netherlands at all?
Yes. Achtunachtige prachtige Grachte.
Like that.
That's presumably it's like 88 beautiful bridges in Amsterdam.
That's what you said?
I thought I said that, but my Dutch is not that good. My German is much better.
Well, that's a great segue today. This is a little bit long. I know you don't like these long clips,
Well,
but
just
this
be mindful of our.
it maybe 8 seconds. We're
Okay,
good.
if I
Here
talk
we go.
over it just a bit, just to break the algorithm.
Let's just split it. Let's go Dutch.
Okay.
Let's beat the 3 Dutchmen.
Okay.
But this Dutchman's gonna pay when he can in a couple weeks. I don't care.
Going Dutch.
You recognize that voice?
It's today. That sounds like a Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn on the internship. Yeah.
There's so many cultures that feel that they are the cheap culture.
Yes.
Russell Peters does a whole bit on that with because he's Indian, his conversation between Indian and Chinese trying to broker a deal is hilarious, but a lot of cultures think that they're
the cheap ones.
They're the cheapest culture.
Yeah, which the reason you're bringing that up is that the way Going Dutch is today's idiom, and by definition, it's basically splitting the cost of something, typically a meal, but not always, splitting the cost of something between whoever's in the party. Usually 2 people, but splitting the cost, Going Dutch, even Steven.
Isn't that weird?
It's very weird.
I love gold.
88 bridges in Amsterdam.
There you go.
88.
88.
I think.
I said 88.
Oh, right. Okay.
88.
Beautiful.
ADHD.
That's what the song was before it was 99 Red Balloons. It was 88 beautiful bridges.
That's
in
the one.
Amsterdam.
ADHD bridges in Amsterdam.
Right.
So there you go. Being cheap about it, we're going to split this.
Let's go
blah,
Dutch.
Blah, blah.
Yeah. Well, which is interesting on the idea of cheapness, because my heritage is Scottish. And so there's...
You don't need to say anymore. You don't need to say anymore.
Your heritage is receding.
My heritage is... Thank you. Pot, kettle, black. and so noteworthy, the Scottish people and their cheapness. And so but it's Dutch. We're going to go Dutch. So there's that. But as I was looking into it, Scotch tape. Okay, you've heard the 3M product Scotch tape?
Sure.
There was an actual story that went with it that I thought interesting. So on the 3M website, the tape that was called Scotch tape, it had adhesive only on the edges of the tape. And auto painters told 3M salesman to go back to his Scotch boss to put more adhesive on.
Interesting.
It wasn't getting enough. There wasn't
So
enough
originally
stickiness.
it was called Scotch tape because it wasn't sticky
It was
enough.
invisible. Yeah, so it was invisible tape. But he said, "Go back to your Scotch bosses." So yeah, it was there's a little bit of a funny little
tongue in cheek as they name their product.
Yeah,
That's
stereotype
funny.
in there. Scotch
Funny.
tape, and you see on the side it has that Scottish sort of plaid thing going on.
Yeah,
But
that's right.
yeah, Scotch tape.
So
I just saw... Oh, sorry. Carry on.
I was just going to ask about the tape. Why did they put adhesive only on the edges? Or were they actually being cheap about it?
I think they're trying to limit the stickiness of it for a painting application. You didn't want it to fully adhere.
Oh,
but when you're
it was
painting,
intentional. I see, yeah.
Yeah. Now we have painter's tape that it adheres well, but it doesn't pull off paint.
Right,
You know, so yeah, there's different.
So I get it.
But it's
yeah,
Scotch
that
tape.
made sense.
So it was so it wasn't sticky on all over it.
Right.
Go back to your Scotch bosses and tell them to put more adhesive on the tape.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. All these little.
I was gonna say about the tape. I was just on Facebook. On Facebook, I'm addicted, which is really bad. I shouldn't really give it up. Anyway, there was this funny thing. It was this joke in Russian. Okay, so they're like, "What can you not fix with the blue tape?" Now in Russia, they have this. It's more like electrician tape, but it's the same idea.
Like duct tape?
We would call it duct tape.
Duct tape. No, but it's blue. Okay.
But
right?
Very different.
But we have duct tape jokes.
But right.
yeah.
But before
What can
we
you
get
not
to that-
fix with the blue tape?
Right, and so the picture on Facebook is a Polish flag, and Poland is sort of this, long-standing enemy of Russia, right? They have this rivalry that goes on back centuries, right?
Okay.
So Polish flag is is white and red. So you have the Polish flag, and they take the tape, puts right through the middle, it becomes Russia. You can even make
That's funny.
Funny Russian jokes. You can even make the Polish flag.
You can fix anything with the blue tape. Is it called something? The blue tape?
No, I think it's just called
The blue tape.
No, it's just called Синяя изолента. Blue tape.
Blue tape. You can fix anything with blue tape, even the Polish flag. Shout out to all our Polish listeners.
Sorry.
It's all good.
Well, there's on that Going Dutch. There's Dutch stereotypes, clogs,
Yep.
dikes,
Well, not just clogs, like wooden
clogs, panakook.
panakoik,
What other kind of Dutch?
windmills,
Beer.
beer, probably.
I think the Germans when I think of beer.
No. You get
It's just got real. It's like I've just offended you now.
No.
Okay, so you go to this place called, in English they call it Bruges, but it's not Bruges, it's Brugge.
Brewery.
It's a Dutch thing, right? So you go to Bruges.
Sorry, I don't speak freaky deaky Dutch.
Anyway, so you open
Get all
this
my
menu
gold-
thing,
my gold
right?
member.
Rangers.
And there's like 40 types of beer on the menu, and all 40 come from Bruges only.
Wow,
It's like bizarre.
it's like a country full of like Granville Island-ness. Is
I thought you were just saying brewery in another language, but Bruges, the
town.
the town.
The town, yeah.
Got it.
so Dutch. So that's a
That's actually where they get the word brew. When like brewskis, brew, it all comes
be,
from
yes.
Bruges.
brouhaha.
Or a little origin story for you.
There's some good Russian stereotypes too, though,
Oh,
right?
yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's
Like
not club.
balalaika or something.
I don't know what's.
Oh,
what's
okay.
that
So, okay, here it goes. So, actually, I'm. Oh, you want me to go or not?
you can
Oh,
go.
no, whatever.
Yeah.
If
All
you
right.
know-
So,
if you know Russian,
so they
stereotypes-
have this-
I was thinking more like hugging bears and drinking vodka.
no, that's true too. I mean, that's. But
Right.
no. But the best thing is the bear, drunken bear, playing balalaika. You know the balalaika,
Okay,
sort of
yeah,
Russian guitar, right?
In a ushanka.
Okay. In the Ushanka, yeah, that's right.
Oh, I can picture. I think it's a brand logo, a bear playing that.
There could be.
Yeah.
There could be. Yeah.
Anyway,
for sure.
what's
So-
it called? What's a guitar thing called again?
No, balalaika.
Balalaika.
Uh-huh. So what happens is that I'm from Ukraine, right? But I'm from the Russian side of Ukraine. Anyway, just to make it complicated. So they had this big conflict going on in Ukraine, right? Like 7 years already, blah blah blah. So there's sort of Russia on one side, Ukraine on another.
So there's issues there.
Right, kind of. But we won't go into that. That's fine, whatever. That's so settled. But one of those things that was going on Facebook is to see that the balalaika is notoriously simple instrument. It has only 3 strings. Okay. But they have this Ukraine.
Just below the ukulele,
Right.
but above the
Look, maybe it has 5. I have no idea. I have no idea about
just
music.
making
So
this up.
whatever, but not many. There's not many strings on it.
Hey Google, how many strings does a balalaika have?
3 strings.
3.
Ah, I was right.
Balalaika is a Russian stringed musical instrument with a characteristic triangular wooden hollow body.
Hey, Google.
round neck and
You're talking too much.
sure, I can do that.
Right. So then Ukrainians have this thing called bandura, okay? And this bandura thing is much bigger than balalaika. There's probably a whole tree in
You're
it.
thinking of Antonio.
No,
Antonio
well,
Beredeka.
That's the one. Anyway, so this thing has like I don't know how many strings. I mean, like 10, 20. I don't know.
Like a harp.
A lot. Okay, like a harp. But it kind of looks like a balalaika, but really big. And so Ukrainians were sending this meme out. It's look how stupid the Russians are. They only have 3 strings.
And you're like, you can't even play a balalaika good. There's only 3 strings.
I know.
Those-
Even a bear can play.
So, bringing it back to Going Dutch.
Yeah.
Do you find that, I don't know, some cultural difference type things? I can just speak from myself that keeping track of the money is a big deal. Like, so if
In your family.
if I
That's you.
borrow, like, or if you like, hey, let me pay for this for you, sure. I will like try like immediately that
I've
day.
got the next one. I'm gonna get the
within
next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and so I don't know about that. Like, I don't know, some equity. There seems to be. Is that a dude thing or is that a cultural thing?
I think it's probably depends on the culture. I think that there's some cultures where just we'll actually tap into that into the origins. But as far as like where we live now, I love to be the. I can't always do it, but I love to be the guy. Go, I got this time. Love that, and I feel uncomfortable. I don't feel like I owe. Like if somebody.
But when you do that to me, I try and pay you back immediately.
know,
Like there'll be an indirect thing that day.
I know when I had like cases of pop at work, you'd be like, I took a couple. You need like a little coin purse, so I can drop some loonies.
Here's
in." I'm like,
$5.
I don't care. You drop a 5 at me every once in a while.
Just because it's, I don't know, is it like a being owed thing? So Going Dutch, I don't know, it's like a prearrangement. I take care of me, you take care of you.
Let me
But I
ask
don't
you this.
but I like generosity.
But like, what do Dutch think about all this?
Exactly. It's a good question. But if you think that way, like I buy you lunch, you feel like, okay, I got to pay him back. I got to find some way to kind of keep it even. Do you feel the other way? Like when you pay and I don't give a rip, are you like, wow? Like, are you chalking it up in the other direction? When
I don't know if it's just one of those like my own personal quirks hanging out. When people don't say like a thank you.
I don't mean that. I mean, do you
that drives
feel
me
like
crazy.
I owe you now that you bought
No,
me
no. I
lunch?
mean, like if you paid for them.
So if we're going out, it's like grab dinner.
Sorry.
If I grab dinner, I grab dinner. It's done.
Oh yeah. But if I grab dinner, you feel like you owe me.
Yes.
But if you grab dinner, you aren't waiting for me to pay you back.
Not at all.
Yeah, weird.
Not even a little bit. But I would be looking for thanks, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Of course.
You say of course.
So you
but
don't
not
like-
everybody is
you don't
like that.
About time
No.
instead of thank you.
No,
I've got this.
I can
About time.
roll it back to childhood from I had a stepdad who would take us out for Slurpees after a softball game every once in a while. And I remember sitting as a kid passing the 7-Eleven and going, one day when I'm older, I'm going to buy Slurpees for people. Like it, like in my head, like I'm going to be like
be
the
that
guy. Yeah.
It impacted you so much that you
It
wanted
was
to
just
be
a
that
Slurpee,
guy.
but the feeling I knew then that I wanted to be the Slurpee buyer.
I mean, that was good because you could have made a different commitment, you know. You could have made a commitment buying everybody black caviar. That would have been a problem.
That would. It'd be expensive.
So just Slurpees.
Slurpees is fine, but I guess they're kind of like little pearl.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever.
Kind of chewy.
Yeah, if you're squeezing Slurpees out of fish, well, that would be gross, but
Well, anyway,
we should get to it. Where does this actually even really come from?
I said some words, where'd they go? Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around and looked behind. Those words came from another mind. Origins.
all right. Well, the idea of paying for yourself when out with friends, paying for yourself when out with friends, is referred as going Dutch, which I was wondering. I know we chose this idiom a while back, and when it got to time to research, I'm like, oh no, are we gonna find out very quickly that this is just super offensive to Dutch people? Like, I'm like, how offensive can it be? It's in movies. It's all the time.
There's
You
a
hear
phrase
it.
called going Dutch.
Yeah. So
It can't be the first time they've heard it.
so the quick assumption is, and when you go on to the internet and try and look up where does going Dutch come from, it usually goes back to the 17th century, where the word Dutch had a negative connotation in English for the English, variously meaning cheap, sometimes meaning alcoholic, sometimes like a Dutch. What's the word? Dutch courage. Is because
I think of a Dutch oven.
Dutch courage. You need a couple drinks first. And that's called Dutch courage. So it was always just like in the negative. Dutch anything.
If there's cultures related to alcohol, I think of the Irish.
Yes, true.
That's stereotypical.
But Dutch courage is an idiom, meaning
Oh, is
you need
it?
a couple drinks
Oh, I've not heard
first.
of that one.
Yeah. So the derogatory usage of Dutch stems from animosity between the English and the Dutch due to their competing positions, naval powers back then, which obviously turned into wars. We won't get into the history of it, but in the middle of 17th century, when war broke up, English had come up with some choice derogatory expressions related to the Dutch. So specifically in 1654, the first derogatory usage of Dutch began appearing in print, such as R. Whitlock's Zwaruja. Pretty sure that's how you say that. Zwaruja. I think that's a
Heidi,
a movie about a board game. Yeah. Zwaruja. That's what you say after your Dutch courage. Zwaruja. So this is what it says. The contract is not, like Dutch bargains, made in drink. So right away it's saying if this is how the Dutch bargain, that they're drunk all the time. Soon phrases such as Dutch palate, which just meant low class. If you have a Dutch palate, Dutch reckoning, which means poor accounting, bad math.
These are just getting personal on the Dutch now.
Yeah, that's what it was in the 16th, 17th century. That said,
Hey, do you want to split the bill has turned into like slur.
right. So the good news is that's most likely not where this come from. So,
Whew, I was
Tell you what, we'll go Dutch.
so Contrary to what is all over the internet, it appears to have nothing to do with the animosity between the English and the Dutch. Did the English make up a variety of derogatory Dutch-related things? Yep, it's out there. Going.Dutch is not one of them. So, although it quickly goes, oh, it must be that because you're basically saying someone's cheap if they want to go Dutch. But that's not where it comes from. Go ahead.
But if you're splitting, it's not being cheap.
Right.
Cheap meaning I want you to pay for me. That would be cheap.
Right. This guy's got a master's in economy, so
that's right.
Whatever.
But it does mean cheap.
An MBA or something.
It's often in pop culture movies, whatever. It comes across as cheap on a date.
Right.
When the guy is like, "Oh, let's go Dutch." It's like, "Oh,
right,
you shouldn't be paying, buddy."
Right.
So it's a sign that he's cheap.
Right.
It's another on that thing when we're going out and I know you're paying, I won't eat what I would like to eat based on costs.
Right.
But if I'm paying, I'll have the full rack of ribs, please.
That's why the last time we went together in the restaurant, we went to all you can eat Japanese. Anyway, that was a long time ago.
It's a while ago.
Why don't they have any all-you-can-eat Dutch restaurants?
It's just
That's what they
panakooks. It's like, how many panakooks can you eat? I can't eat another one.
All right, so the origin actually doesn't come from anything derogatory. In the 17th and 18th centuries, many German-speaking groups immigrated to the United States. For those that settled in Pennsylvania, they became known as the Pennsylvania Dutch. As to why these German-speaking people were called this in the first place, for some time in English, High Dutch generally referred to people from parts of Germany and nearby mountainous regions, and Low Dutch got applied to people from the Netherlands. So the two
What
dialects.
about Double Dutch?
We're going to talk about that.
Okay.
At the time of these regions, part of the, blah, blah, blah. We'll skip the history of it. Even after they gained their respective independence, the naming scheme stuck around for a while in certain areas like America. So Pennsylvania Dutch, it stuck. And High German, Low German, that stuck. Even though it was regional, could be taken derogatory, doesn't matter. In the United States, it would seem that the Pennsylvania Dutch had a reputation for never owing anyone anything to the point. They even with a group of friends in the tavern, the reputation was that everyone paid their own bill. We don't owe each other. We don't borrow. We don't lend. We don't owe. It was just a moral.
It's a good code.
Yeah. We don't owe. We don't borrow.
It keeps weird feelings out.
Weird.
Isn't that weird? I love gold.
So
Dutch hater.
Out of that, not derogatory, in the United States, English in the United States began to see these things like Dutch treat, 1873 started being used, Dutch lunch, going Dutch, all stemmed around the same thing, not owing someone. So it wasn't about being cheap. It was about I'm not going to let you because I will not owe you.
That's interesting.
So it goes in with your line of thinking.
There you go. Maybe I'm Dutch.
Maybe you're Dutch.
Maybe that's what's going on. I do love panakook.
I think you're a very moral person.
I do like panakook and Nutella, if that's a thing.
Now, do they have it like all you can eat, or is it just limited in panakook? How does it work?
All you can
I'm
eat
sure it
panakook
exists somewhere.
Sure.
Is there? Oh.
So the earliest, this is not Going Dutch. This
Amish.
is Dutch treat. It goes back to 1873. The Daily Democrat. If our temperance friends could institute what is called the Dutch treat into our saloons, each man paying his reckoning, it would be a long step towards reforming and drinking to excess. Next up, 1897 was the Dutch lunch in the Fort Wayne morning. Perhaps you have a fatter pocketbook than some of the other fellows. I, for instance, can't afford to buy 2 tickets every time I go, so some of the boys and I go on the Dutch lunch plan. Everybody for themselves. So Dutch, fill in the blank, anything to do with splitting it, paying for yourself, didn't appear until the 19th or 20th century in the United States. So it can't come...
Anglo-Dutch wars.
Yeah, it can't come from the wars.
No, the modern English today, do they use this phrase, or is just specifically English American English?
Going Dutch with that meaning is American, like Dutch American. Pennsylvania Dutch.
Right.
The German-speaking group.
Interesting.
I think of Pennsylvania Dutch, and I immediately because I've been to Pennsylvania in Amish country, and that's all I picture right now is Amish country in Pennsylvania, because there's a lot of it, and I could see that being a part of their moral code. Like, oh, that makes sense. That's not derogatory at all.
Zedekiah, can I borrow your pipe, son? Oh, no,
I remember,
Jacob.
I remember being there, and you see the horse and buggies, and some things they have to comply with. Like there's certain reflectors, like to be in traffic. It's the name of the game. And we got a little life lesson on the Amish in Pennsylvania, and you'd see like horse and buggy, but going through the ATM, drive-through ATM, and you're like, is that allowed? Or you'd see a horse and buggy and with like a boombox in the back, and so that's the extent of rebellion, like teens rebelling, other than their. I was going to call it Ramadan.
They have a week.
What's it called?
They have like Rush Week where you can like
There's a name for it.
de-Amishify and go party, and then if you come back, then you're Amish. If you don't,
is it every week or is it just
one time in your life?
Oh,
one time in your life. It's like your go nuts week.
Right. I mean,
go see the world, and you can find out either we were truthful and come back, or you like it better.
But only one week.
1 week, I believe.
I thought we were going to get into double Dutch.
Freaky deaky Dutch.
I mean, today with all the PCR testing, I mean, you can't get away in 1 week anywhere.
Please just pay for my half.
I don't go Dutch on the first date.
See? Because you'd be cheap.
It's fair enough.
So I didn't write it down, but I did read about the double Dutch thing, and it had to do with people trying to understand Dutch in general. It's a complicated language, and so it just became kind of a joke. Double Dutch, like you can understand it
with
even
the two
when
jump
you know.
ropes.
So
like the egg beater jump rope.
Double Dutch could have come from the jump rope, because that's is that called Dutch?
What's double Dutch again?
I think isn't that double Dutch? Like
double Dutch.
Normally you have
double Dutch,
the jump rope, and then they do that egg beater one.
That's
I think
Dutch skipping or something, but double Dutch is speaking. So they're speaking double Dutch, but a lot of Dutch related things come from that. So for example, even this is a theory out there. I didn't even jot it down because I'm like, this just seems like a few people's opinion. The Dutch doors, where there's two, like the upper part moves and the bottom part, that's a Dutch door where the top part opens only.
Things with twos?
Yeah, so double Dutch doors. Some people think that even Going Dutch comes from the doors because they're independent of each other. And or the jump rope, it requires two independent.
Well, I wouldn't
Dutch
have guessed necessarily the origins or meaning, and I wanted to segue into the Russian bear. I asked him to prepare a Russian idiom that he could say in Russian and then tell us the literal meaning, and then you and I have to guess.
I like it.
So if you have got a Russian idiom that you could share in Russian,
all right,
and then the direct translation.
Right. So let's say I meet somebody.
No, don't.
Just say it first.
Okay.
Just the Russian idiom.
Я ему лапшу на уши навешал. Я ему лапшу на уши навешал.
Which means directly what?
Which I hang a whole bunch of spaghetti on his ear.
I hang spaghetti on his ear. Okay, Doug, just give us a moment. Just give us a moment.
I find it interesting that your Russian idiom uses Italian food.
Well, okay, let's put this. Lapsha could actually mean noodles.
Okay.
Or spaghetti. Or,
That type of thing. Okay. Hanging noodle on your ear. Oh, okay. It means that your brains fell out of your head, is what I'm going to go with.
I'm hanging spaghetti on his ear. It means he's so inactive that you could hang stuff on him and he doesn't even notice. So it's about a lazy person.
Okay.
That's it.
And you're saying, okay, so do you want me to translate?
Or is it gossip? Is it about gossip?
Well, now you can share. Now you can share what
gossip. Okay, so this is basically if I'm lying to him. I told him told stories.
Oh, you're hanging spaghetti.
I put a whole bunch of noodles on his ears, and I told him told stories.
Okay, I hear it now. I get it now.
That's funny. Well, hopefully you can stick around for one more episode. And do you got another one in your can that you can save for us for next? Okay.
No problem,
Good. Well, we are heading into the tail end of our time together. We wanted to get into some riddlinks.
Yes. Well, while I line that up, why don't you tell a little bit about our sponsor?
Oh, today's sponsor is HelloFresh. Dinner is solved. And so one of the things we very much enjoy at our household, we have HelloFresh come in. It shows up for us. We choose Sunday, but you can pick whatever day you want. And so then we start off the week with fresh, healthy meals that are easy to prepare. We've had
pre-measured ingredients.
Everything comes out nice. And so whether you're 12 years old preparing it or, 52 years old preparing it, Or 62. You could just really throw in basically any age
Any
right
number.
there. To prepare this delicious meal, so easy for a kid to prepare, outstanding quality when all said and done, and you're learning something inexpensive. Make sure you hit us up on all our social media stuff, and we will hook you up with a free week supply.
Dinner solved. All right, well, it's time for Riddle-Ink. Riddle-Ink is a game we like to play, which is a 2-part trivia-based question, but it requires a 2-part but overlapping answer. So, for example, last week's episode was "Don't count your chickens before they hatch," and I left it terrible, because I didn't have one written, and I tried to throw one together that was something along the lines of a poultry idiom, meaning you don't get your hopes up too early, follows waddly. So, don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Hatch. Waddly? Is that a word?
Well, they waddle out of that.
No, the kid song, "Waddly atcha, waddly." So don't count your chickens before they hatch ya.
That is terrible.
I told you it was terrible. But it did overlap slightly. That's how you play Riddle-Ink badly.
Well, okay, well, I've got a couple. You've got a couple.
Yep.
So perhaps you can jump in, and our Village Idiom children jump in on this to see if you can beat the Russian Bear or Jurassic Mark. What leprechauns protect is the Austin Powers Dutch villain?
So pot of gold Dutch potato chips. What was
The Austin Powers Dutch villain.
Pot of
Myers?
Goldfinger. Pot of Goldfinger.
It's Goldmember.
Oh, Goldmember, right? Goldfinger is James Bond.
It had to be that
Pot
guy.
of Goldmember.
Right.
There you go. Pot of Goldmember.
All right. Well, let me give you one. The second, no, I'm going to give you this one. The capital of the Netherlands is where Anne Frank's house is.
False.
What is so I'm gonna go with like Amsterdam,
Right?
and her house is, where's Anne Frank's house?
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
Yep.
False.
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. Well, it's Amsterdam, yeah. But I mean, actually, that's a weird country, the Dutch. Okay, so
The Netherlands.
well, that's the thing, right? So there's the Netherlands and there's Holland. What's the difference?
Spelling.
No.
Well, it is spelled different. Who are 3 people who have never been in my
Anyway.
Well, I
kitchen.
was actually going to say something about the Netherlands, Holland, and they're called Dutch. Like,
I mean, that's
why aren't
weird.
they called
Isn't
Hollandaise?
that weird?
It's weird, and the worst thing is
Yeah.
that, okay, so for a Russian person, there's the fourth variable, because when you say somebody is Dutchanian, that means he's from Denmark.
It's crazy.
Okay.
Can't put blue
There you
tape
go.
on that. What's my
Okay,
turn?
Is it my turn? Your turn?
My
I don't
turn.
even know.
Okay.
Amsterdam. It's your turn.
The invisible 3M fastener
Scotch tape.
is an intestinal parasite.
A Scotch tapeworm.
It's a Scotch tapeworm.
Wow.
Nice.
Funny.
Good for you. And our final one, send us home.
All right, well, this one we're going to leave to our Village Idiom children to answer. Tell them how they can get a hold of us and be a part of this fun game.
Reach out to us on Instagram at the.village.idiom or email thevillageidiompodcast@gmail.com, or whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter at 3 Minutes Gone.
Awesome. The second most popular graphite grade of this writing utensil. Did you catch that?
Mm-hmm.
The second most popular graphite grade of this writing utensil is the state that the German-speaking immigrants moved to.
Wow. Okay, I'm good. And that is 3 Minutes Gone.
Well, it was 6 minutes gone.
Sorry.
Give or take. Well, we're just wrapping things up. So,
Yeah.
So it was fun putting today together for you. We hope you enjoyed it.
And great having the Russian Bear. Thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
Хорошо.
Хорошо. Молодец.
It's all good. I'm Skinny.
I am Jurassic Dorpidium. Mark.
Yeah. A Russian bear.
And these are the Village Idioms.
Don't look now, we're going Dutch. That's 3 minutes gone.